So, ladies and gentlemen, I just saw that yesterday, on Monday, 20th of November, was actually World Child's Day. It was a day set aside to celebrate children across the world. And I was thinking within myself that this is a day which was not given the correct and significant recognition in our country and maybe globally. Because I haven't seen much of it being said either online or in many mainstream platforms. And this is a day that actually marks when the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Declaration of Children's Rights. And it's important when we're talking about children's rights. The theme of this year was every child, every right, all the rights for all the children. But there is one very ambiguous part. While we might have these rights and policies written very well on paper, there is always a challenge with the relational aspect of adults, parents and guardians with children. And this is abuse. Child abuse has been a prevalent situation in Africa. And previously, over the years, it was not child abuse. It was a way of life. Somehow, we have normalized child abuse in the name of discipline, in the name of correcting people. But I have also come across, I've watched many stories, I've seen many occasions of children who end up even fleeing from their families, ending up having bad relationships with their parents. And parents at that stage normally talk like people who are very innocent. We're doing all this for the interest of the child. We're not meaning ill for them. And this actually leads me to say that we need to change the way we discipline our children. I think we need to very much anchor discipline with love and genuine compassion for the child. It's important anytime a child you discipline a child, for them to know that you're not doing that because you hate them. You're doing that because you want something good for them. And also, the disciplining measure should also be controlled. It should not be an overdone thing which will make the relationship with the child distorted. So it's important. I think we need to go away from the stereotypes that we have been holding before about children, that they should be beaten, they are people who do not understand, these small habits that we do to them when they are young. They grow up with them. Many children are growing up with trauma, and that is not what they deserve. Children deserve to be brought up well, with good morals, of course, with good direction, but also considering their future stability in life, so that children you don't end up with grown-ups who are disappointed, who are hungry, who have a lot of trauma within themselves. We need to change entirely what we do with disciplining children. So it's important, as we celebrate the International Child's Day, we focus on the issue of child abuse. That has been one of the biggest problems. Other issues like who should bring up a child have been well addressed by the law and they have been interpreted. But child abuse still, I see a lot of videos online of some acts which are being done to children. And I really believe that these are not always scripted videos. They are things that are happening because they are raw recorded videos. And it is very unfortunate to see some of the things that people do to children in the name of disciplining them. And this is what ends up. As society, sometimes we don't know the background and context of things. This is what happens when you start seeing children who do not go home, who do not value their guardians and their children, not even value, who have a lot of hate for people who brought them up, because they have come to realize that wrong things were done to them. We need to avoid that. And it has shown across time that there is no amount of apology which goes to children who have been abused, who have been brought up to trauma. But now that we are aware, now that we know that maybe some people who are bringing us up did some things to us out of lack of knowledge, it's important to also understand them, and if they are remorseful, we may consider their remorse. But for those who are aspiring parents, who are currently parents, let us be completely careful about being abusive to children. There are even grown-ups, old people today, who have never forgotten how they were abused by maybe teachers, maybe their uncles, and they live with that anger. You hear a person. If a person is hungry at an old age, it means that you did a bad thing to them. If they cannot see the good in that thing when they are even 40, 30 years old, it means that act did not come with the right feeling. We need to consider the feeling that our acts go to children with. So let us join hands together to stand against child abuse in whatever forms. It could be child labor, it could be being overbeaten, it could be being brought up in a very unstable domestic environment, and everything. Let us ensure a secure and healthy environment for children so that we can have more stable and adults who can not only handle themselves, but they can also handle others around them with more love, with compassion, and without nursing a lot of background trauma. Thank you so much, and let's keep engaging on diverse social issues. Let us keep on thinking within developing ourselves and the communities that we come from. Let us continue inspiring action on social issues through empowering people with the knowledge that we have.
Maybe I can also ask, we are having so many issues of FGM, having in mind that you are the initiation period. So what's your take on the issue of FGM?
Yeah, my take on the issue of FGM is that, firstly, historically, this is a practice that has been held by many communities in Africa. And over time, we have come in complete agreement that medically, socially, emotionally, this is a bad practice. And I fully support the efforts that have been put in place by the government by firstly making it illegal, declaring it illegal, and the non-government organizations which have been leading grassroots initiatives to sensitize people and to also empower and rescue young girls who are at the verge of undergoing that practice. Recently, I was pleased by the stand of the president on, actually for a very long time we have had no much political will towards the issue of FGM.
Yeah.
And this is because many politicians do not like going against the elders in some communities.
Yeah.
You see, so that is, I was very pleased to see the president talking against FGM. That's number one. You also asked, and I fully support continuous efforts, and everyone out there who is creating awareness, who is championing the rights of young girls against FGM. Kudos, good job, and keep doing what you're doing. And I encourage everyone to support that. Secondly, you talked about child labor.
Yeah.
The child labor is prevalent, and sometimes it doesn't come out like child labor. Because we find that very small children are involved in job activities to even fend for their families. It happens a lot, especially in the poverty-stricken areas, where children are fetching water to sell, they are cultivating people's farms, that happens a lot.
Sure.
It is not seen as a child labor activity. It is seen as if the children are contributing to the family, but really they are small, they're very young. Some children even end up with stunted growth. As a child starts doing very tough jobs when they are small, it makes it even impossible for their muscles to even enlarge.
True.
This is a big problem, and it is also prevalent among the areas where there is large-scale farming, where people are being given spaces to cultivate and they're paid. It happens. It is wrong because what this does to a child, it makes them distracted. If a child is going to school, they can no longer concentrate well because they are tired, they're doing a job which is beyond their age. So one of the motivations is actually poverty. Number two, there is also child labor being done at very high level, where people who are stable in life are using children because children are cheap to use.
Easy.
Yeah, they're easy to use. For example, a rich person may not be interested in employing the mother or the father. They'll ask the parent to give them the child so that they can pay less money and they can control them more. You find in many homesteads, many setups, children are doing a lot of job because they're paid less. It is wrong. We must call out child abuse and create a good environment for children to grow. If you give birth to a child, if you are in the care of a child, strive very hard to provide for them and create them environment to play and interact with children and to also learn in school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Do you have any other question? Asante sana.